Welcome back to the Bricks. I'm your host, Ken Boyer, here for a quick Bricks update. Today, I just want to take a few minutes out to discuss a topic that's, trending right now all over the country right now, the main topic of discussion, the Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman case, where, a teenage boy was gunned down, just walking in the neighborhood that someone decided that he shouldn't be walking in. It's just, I'm just going to, draw from a few things that I took from this case. And, the main thing I've seen is, the terms of racism being thrown around and people really just focusing on racism and say, Trayvon Martin used this derogatory, racial slur towards George Zimmerman, or George Zimmerman used this derogatory term, against Trayvon Martin, and you hear about, the Paula Dean and all these different things, and people just taking racism as, just a verbal slur. Someone uses the N word. In 2013, racism isn't the issue. It's more about placism. That's the thing that I feel like people really taking racism as just, you said a certain term or something to me, or an insult. It's like really people, especially in positions trending upward in their lives and who's made it through a lot of different things, like they don't care about that. Like we have a few terms for people like that. You either an admirer of me or you a hater. Either way, I'm smiling. You know what I mean? So that's not something that we really care about. We really care about the placism, and the fact is, you have to be born into an impoverished, household and neighborhood, and you have cities with no street lights. You have places where you can't step outside of those city bounds or you're going to be just pulled over. People talk about, George Zimmerman, and they had confusion as to whether he used the N word when he was on the telephone calling 911 saying, these bleeps always get away. Whether he said that or not, or Trayvon Martin, using a derogatory slur, against George Zimmerman, we're referring to him. All he seen was some guy, hounding him, in the street and following him, with the intent to murder this kid. This is the thing I think that people really fail to realize. It's like, this is a teenager. You can pull up any text message or Facebook. You go on any teenage Facebook or Twitter account, and you're going to see the most ridiculous things. Come on. We all know that. You're going to see middle fingers up. You're going to see alcohol abuse, drug abuse, partying and crazy, things going on every time. Everyone's slogan for the day or word of the day is something, with at least 2 curse words in it or something like that. Like, people really put too much into little things like that without focusing on the big thing. And people keep on saying, you keep throwing out the race card. You want to keep using this as an excuse. This kid lost his life. That's something people fail to realize. This kid lost his life. And it's not just about those two exchanging different, whether they exchange derogatory slurs or racial slurs towards one another. He knew that someone was chasing him and following him with the intent to murder him because he felt like he shouldn't be in a certain area or neighborhood. That still exists. That's what racism is. That's what it is. He just found you heard him and caught him on tape saying, I don't know why this guy, this slur, whatever word he said, is following me with the intent to try to harm me. Why are you following me? What do you want with me besides what I think that you want with me? Not just because you stereotype me and pick me out over your stupidity and ignorance, and you decided to murder him. He literally hunted this kid down like a dog. And, I was just watching the trial, and I was shocked once they showed the sweaters and the bullet hole marks, and they had the testimony from the forensic analysts and things like that, and showed that the gun was literally pointed on the kid, put on the kid's chest. He blew the kid's heart out. Beat him down when the kid actually tried to defend himself and say, look, I have scars on my face, on my, what? You're upset, and your defense is, look, he actually tried to stop me from murdering him. I decided I was going to kill him, and he decided that no, he tried to fight me back. And look, he hurt me. He actually tried to resist. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. This whole trial and everything about it. I mean, this should just be case closed. No way in the world. You literally put a gun to this kid's chest and blew the kid's heart out. And he suffered for 10 minutes. Bled out. You know, and they say the kid was asking, oh, what do you want to do? What are you trying to do? Why you follow me? Like he was puffed up and being aggressive. Of course he's being aggressive. It's nighttime and he knows he's doing nothing but walk into a place he has any right to walk to. And the first thing even animals learn, even the smallest animal, you go to a skunk or a squirrel, the first thing they do is stand on their hind legs, or they poke their tail up or chest up or stand up to make themselves look larger. Even a bear, when it's confronted by a human or something like that, it raises itself up. It's a defense mechanism when you know your life is in danger. A teenage boy's life was in danger. And the fact is, I mean, yeah, he messed the dude up. He gave it to the guy. So he couldn't beat him up. He couldn't just beat him up what he decided to do to a kid, a teenager that hasn't even finished grade school yet. Older brother is in the University of Florida. Like this, just because you have in your mind your stereotype that, oh, this guy's a no good and he's this and he's that. What are you talking about? You don't even know this kid. This kid is walking around eating Skittles. Talking on the phone. I mean, that's the craziest thing I ever heard. That's the problem. The problem is not just that you call me, you know, a derogatory racial slur. It's like, ooh, who cares? Who cares? Who cares about that? You a hater. Or you're jealous and an admirer. We don't have a problem with that, especially people in those positions. You have a problem where you sit in an impoverished neighborhood. You have a problem when you cross a certain street, you're going to get pulled over by the cops. Just recently, something like this happened to me. Within the past year, I'm driving in a township, and a cop pulls me over. I'm driving with someone who happens to be white in my vehicle, but they're driving, pulls them out the car, don't stop, license, registration, proof of insurance, nothing. Just get out the car, take them to the back, ask them a bunch of questions, run out licenses, come back to the car, get my license, no problem, officer, very respectful, everything is fine. You figure they're doing their job, even though you know pretty much hint at what's going on, like Trayvon Martin did. Yeah, this guy's fault. Yeah, he has this intent for me. Ran everything, come back clean. Said, do you drink, do you smoke? No. Don't drink, don't smoke. Well, I catch a hint of marijuana through your window. I need to search your car. What? Get out of the car, tear the car down apart, tear out the trunk, tear out my airbags and my horn. Find nothing, no apologies, no nothing. It just, okay, you can go. You know, just to establish that this is how this is what I felt like doing. That's the problem, is when that racism is backed by precedent and by law. I mean, it's the craziest thing. And people go and you go to look at his pictures or anything like that, any teenager do, and immediately they say, oh, he's a thug, he's a criminal. You know, same thing. You can spot someone in the street just driving, and he's a thug, he's a criminal. You have every leeway to just pull him over, do whatever you want to do, lock him up. If you do say anything or do anything, you know, hey, whatever. We have laws that backs whatever we're going to do. We have a law for it. We have justification for whatever. We have a stand your ground law. Even a regular citizen who can't make the service decide, oh, fine, I'll volunteer to do what I wanted to do on the force. What I feel like is my mission in life and what I need to do. and that's hunt down a black kid and kill him. I mean, it's as simple as that. That's the problem we have with that. That's the issue. Go to, attend a premier university. People like, we don't care about things like, we don't care about a name calling or whatever, a look, or who cares? Who cares? We care about when we have laws set up and statutes and you go and they decide we want an emergency manager in the city, the biggest city in the country to ever do something like that. And you say, okay, you have the right to vote for it. The national election where the same election where the president is being elected into office. And you vote on it. And then days later, they establish an emergency manager, just override you to let you know this means nothing. Your vote don't mean anything. It's ridiculous. And people federalize. I mean, this was a kid a few years younger than me, a few years older than my little brother. When you think about that, like, man, that's crazy. And then you see the details and it's so vivid. You just really, if the calls and everything comes together and you figure out like, wow. So this guy really just absolutely just executed this kid. And they didn't even report it for weeks later because, hey, he's black. We just chalk it up. Okay, fine. Guys just decided to hunt you down, kill you. Fine, you're black. It doesn't matter. We're not even going to report it. Same thing, a similar instance just happened where, police officers ran in a house, don't follow procedures like you would in any other neighborhood, suburban neighborhood or a certain area, run in a house in the streets of Detroit, like Ghostbusters or something, like it's just like you're playing Grand Theft Auto or something. Kick the door down, just go in, blast and shoot and kills a child. But it's a little black girl. So, hey, slap on the wrist. You were only following. You were only doing what you were taught to do. You were only doing what you were trained to do. It's ridiculous, and you see these people deliberating, and the guy, they call up Trayvon Martin's witness, and the girl, they make fun of how she speak and how she talk, because she's not articulate enough. And then you have the Fitz attorney's daughter posting pictures on Twitter and Facebook saying my father beat ignorance today eating a white ice cream cone. Evil, ugly people like this. I'm so tired of people getting away with just being evil, ugly people and just saying, oh, well, hey, I mean, everyone has a right to be what they want. This is insane. These people are killing people. These people are putting people into poverty, into bondage. And somehow I don't understand how all of these stereotypes and these things have evolved with us over time. And see, black people are somehow maniacs and animals and terrible mothers and crackheads and just awful people. Considering the history, and they're lazy. They were slaves. They're the aggressive animals. And the evil, angry person who's more likely to assault you when they were humbled to the point of slavery. And by God, most, African Americans are people of faith where you have your mother, your grandmother there that beat you out the bed to make sure you go to church. And to tell you, pray on it. I'm praying for you. To people who are humbled to the point of slavery. Movies you see and you think about the history and the times who raised the white slave owners' children. Raised their children, tended to their lawns, picked the corn, picked the cotton. All of a sudden now you're lazy. you're evil, you're aggressive, you're animal. The people who enslave you telling you this. And then they say, okay, fine, we free you from slavery. You're no longer thought of as 2/3 of a person, 3/4 of a human being. And then it's like, okay, fine, we'll usher you into our society. We're going to give you no help, no nothing. We already have all of it. Everything has been established through precedent, through laws, through bloodlines, through whatever. We'll leave you to scraps. Fine, make something of yourself. And each time you see a person try to rise to ascension, they're being beat the entire way. People who struggle and travail through, hard times, just ridiculously difficult situations. I mean, just a tumultuous life. Like even Trayvon Martin, parents divorced, and you see the mess that is, his mother is his, father, and in their situation, it's a tough situation, a lot for a kid to deal with. He's bouncing around obviously from house to house. He's at night, just walking around, trying to make it somewhere, trying to make it back to a place of refuge. He's going through all of this. That's difficult for any teen. If it was a white teen or any other, hey, it's understandable. Wow, this is a lot to go through. And on top of it being hunted down until eventually someone literally just takes his life away. I mean, that's just ridiculous. I mean, the thing is, people are, and I see, I go to a major university, and you see people continuously teaching these things in sociology and psychology and all these professors. And, I asked them, and I wonder, like, why are you still teaching this if you know that this isn't the case? Well, this is what the statistic just shows, that this many people is here, but you're more likely than not to get harmed by this person, or if be afflicted by this type of crime from this race. But somehow we are just taught to teach you this. It's like, why are you keep reinforcing these stereotypes then? What is the point? You come to college to get stupid? I don't understand that. And it doesn't matter how smart you are, society and the things, I mean, it's systemic. It's not just from a white race that's stereotyping black people. You have even like George Zimmerman. Have Hispanic, part Hispanic, a white Hispanic. Chinese, anybody, you have these stereotypes now, they're perpetuating African Americans in this light. And it's justified by precedent that's been set. So when you say that this stuff has no effect, and it's not racism anymore, and we doing these things, and you should work for this, there's no privilege, you got to make it happen, no excuses, no whatever, or you always hollering complaints and racism and stereotypes and injustice. You have a girl, just Abigail Fisher, sued the University of Texas, one of the best universities in the country, just because she didn't get in. Just assumed it was because of affirmative action that allows certain people in, minorities. And most of those minorities, you fail to realize, are women. Women are considered a minority to the ignorant. That's just people automatically say, minorities, blacks. Oh, this guy got in here because of this reason, or this girl got in here because of this reason. Those stats aren't shown to anyone. Those stats aren't shown to her. They didn't tell her, okay, listen, Abby, this is why we didn't admit you into the University of Texas. This black person got in, this black person got in, this black person got in. You have average to above average grades. And you want to tell me there isn't white privilege? Are you serious? You have a teenager the same age as Trayvon Martin, 17 years old. She's fighting and going up against the entire because she didn't get into a university, as well as her parents and the lawyers. They get outraged, refuse. No, you're not going to treat me like a black person and let this black person. How dare you? I don't care if my child is a CB student. I don't care. We should be in here. Because if we don't get into this school, if we don't have these things, we're looked down upon. So how much more over then if you're a minority? I mean, that's just something I had to talk about. I know it went on as a little bit of a rant, but I mean, this is something we have to open up our eyes, people, man. And we really have to come together, man, and really start fighting for things like that. I mean, and it's not like it was really in the old days and you had the civil rights movement and everything like that stuff don't even work. That don't work anymore. That don't work anymore. Everyone wants to turn a blind eye and say, you know, let's stop saying that it's over. I don't want to hear it. I don't want that. I don't even want to hear about it. Even black people, I don't want to hear. I'm just tired of hearing about it. Though I made it through everything I made it through in life and still pressing forward and came through ridiculous odds through the grace of God, I'm still not ignorant to the fact of why this person is going through this and why this person is going through that. I know just a little while ago it was me. Those were your options. But man, this should be a signed, sealed, and delivered case closed. What a shame.